he go into the last evening with a big, big lead on everyone else.
What is Jason doing wearing blue? I don't recognize him.
Yeah, so Jason's well known for his sort of Scrabble persona is wearing orange. You might recognize Jason from Jeopardy, where I believe he's in the top 20 highest winning people ever or something. Anyway, he won over $250,000 on Jeopardy. He's playing Evans Clinchy, whose name is currently missing an N, but we like to give Evans all sorts of crap, so I'm perfectly happy to call him Evans Clinchy. Though I might get in trouble for that. But, Jason and Evans, both two longtime Collins players, two of my longtime good friends. Evans and I have traveled all over the country drinking beer. That's kind of our thing. We're big beer people.
You are. I've been seeing pictures on Facebook all week.
Yeah.
And it used to be watching the guys play a round of Scrabble, and now it's hoisting a beer.
Yeah, also maybe playing anagrams and...
Probably doing both, yeah.
So we're going to get started here. Jason's going first. Again, this is Collins, the international word list. You're going to see all sorts of crazy things that are good, like HIOI or OBIIT, which are two of the words that Jason currently has.
And in the other game, we're going to see, I'll give you updates on Nigel Richards and Ori Swift. Ori, it goes without saying that anyone who plays Nigel has to beat him in order to have a chance.
So I think there are some nerves for Jason here as he starts out by trading 5. That doesn't make sense.
What did he pass for those who missed it?
He traded 5 tiles. I don't know why. I'm guessing... I mean, I understand. Like, I talked with Jason a bit before his last game, and you could see he's, I think, a bit shell-shocked. Not that he doesn't believe that he deserves to be here, but I think he's just like, holy crap. It's like, this is happening. Like, this is a real thing. Oh, my goodness. So
yes, that's exactly what he said to me, too.
Yeah. So Evans with the correct opening play of bogey, leaving a nice ER.
Stands to bogey men and man.
Yeah, you could see a cool extension, or what we would call a snapback, I guess, in Scrabble parlance. I think we'll see some good points from Jason here. So that Evans can be kind of a machine at Scrabble. He just, like, very methodical, doesn't usually make too many huge errors. I expect him to play a pretty solid game here.
And his word knowledge is kind of scary.
It's gotten better for sure.
Scary, that's what I mean by scary.
Oh yeah,
like scary good.
Yeah, I mean he knows more bingos than he does
nice.
short words. He knows he's on the stream, and he just spelled out softcore, so he's even trying to troll all you all. So I won't be surprised. I'm assuming equity is going to come down here. I guess you could say for the Scrabble players out there, it's the equity play.
Do you remember what Jason passed for those who missed it?
I can also, Jason, I know right now is like laughing on the inside because he likes to impersonate other players, and I think something like quiet would be the exact sort of thing that he would be silly about. So I know he's sort of giggling. Both of these players playing homages to both Twitch and their own personalities on their Scrabble racks, which is kind of meta, but kind of fun just the same. I won't be surprised if... Huh. Wow. It's an interesting play. He's just trying to max the value he's getting out of that queue, and I think he just didn't like...
Opening the board up?
I think he just didn't want to open the board there. It's, in fact, not going to work out for him at all, because he's now given Evans a great spot for his...
Coof.
For his, or just OF, honestly, I think is the best thing there.
Coof is a bit more blocky.
Yeah, well, I mean, just the leave, CEORS, is just better than ERS.
And don't forget that Oho takes the C on top, and he's saving that.
Yeah.
And oof is good now, too. I believe with the American dictionary, oof does not take the S, but it does take
oof.
But it does take something in the British dictionary, in the World Dictionary. It does.
It takes
S.
both an S and a Y.
Yeah, oofy. Yeah.
I mean, oof means money for some reason. I don't know. I don't really understand words. I just kind of take words and put them on boards and hope that I score more points than my opponent and
Yeah, there was something
stuff.
to be said for playing that other O as well. He's got really bingo-prone tiles, and he's looking at acrosome. He's setting it up, and he's letting us know what he's seeing, which is nice for us case room.
Meanwhile, Jason's, I don't know what the heck's going on with him. He's got the J, the Q, some vowels. So far, his plays have not really paid off for him. I sense some nerves. I know him pretty well. You know, so far his plays have just been not what I would expect from him. Not to say that, Hutt, maybe not such a bad play, just surprising. And I think, when you're in command of the tournament, which he is, 2 games ahead, don't adjust your play. It's like my dad would always tell me, in basketball, like, never adjust your shot when you're going up for a layup. Let yourself get fouled, or they won't, or they'll just go for it. They'll block it out of bounds, or you'll just make it. And I feel like right now Jason's kind of adjusting his play style, maybe out of nerves, maybe not, but that's kind of what I'm seeing right now.
Well, he just picked up Jin. He was probably thinking, I'm saving an I. I've got the J. If I pick an N or something, I could play underneath it. And it did happen after that really horrible pick, saving a really nice rack and really picking terribly. So, yeah, Junior with an E.
I think we'll probably see a short play from Evans here, be it COO and oof or just OO. He might go for trying to set up a bigger bingo. Yeah, there may have been something to him playing OOF last turn. I know Evans tends to play a lot like how the computer Quackle plays. He's kind of got that style of play down to a science. He's like very good at it. I think what's interesting here is if Evans should play COO, it will give Jason a miracle jouncier to take a pretty commanding lead. I think it's just a question of, does Evans want those extra points now, or is he just going to go ahead and play just the 2 O's off? In Collins, OO is the word. Again, don't ask me. I don't make the rules. Just how it is.
Someone asked why, Grandpa, you wanted to know why they're holding the bag over their head. Yes, to guarantee no peeking. That was a rule that came into effect probably a good decade ago. Although it wasn't in effect before that, and that was because people sometimes in certain divisions would have a habit of, sneaking a little look to see if, because you can't feel the tiles with these silk screen tiles, they would maybe sneak a peek. That did happen far too often, and therefore a new rule came into effect where you were required, as long as you're physically capable, you don't have shoulder surgery or something, that you hold it over your head. In my case, it is very uncomfortable for me to do it, and what I do is I just hold it to the side and I turn my head in the opposite direction, and actually I close my eyes. So I do 3 different things to make sure that it looks like, very clearly I'm not cheating, and that's fine too. You'd have an aneurysm playing with these guys. Yes, you would definitely. You will. I find I go to these tournaments, and even though you're just sitting all day, you don't gain weight or anything. You're using so much power in your brain all day, multiple days in a row. It's really very exhausting.
So yeah, Ryan's referencing the guy who used to wear a hat. He would kind of use the hat to shield his eyes. Yeah. Got away with it for a while, but kids don't cheat. Cheating's bad.
I think that was a good play.
It makes sense. I mean, bogey is already open, so you don't want to mess with that, and OO and oof doesn't really
And ACERS is just a stunning save.
Exactly. So avoids that strange situation where he plays off the C and gives Jason a big bingo. Although I think he's still managed to not draw anything, sadly.
No, he hasn't.
Which
is unfortunate.
How many people? How many games do people play per day? In this tournament, it's 7 games every day, with 3 tomorrow on the final day. That said, there have been tournaments where people play as many as 16 games in a day. I think they call it the red eye because you play.
Well, it's just once a year. So
yeah, but I mean, there are a few tournaments that you can play quite a few games. I'll be attending a tournament with Evans and a few other players for Team USA in Penang, Malaysia later this year, where I think it's some crazy amount, like 45 games over 5 days. And let me tell you,
Oh my God, really?
it's exhausting. Yeah.
9 games a day is very, very exhausting. The first day is not so bad, but it really starts to wear on you, and especially if it's not going well.
Yeah, yeah. The last time I played that tournament, it went, in fact, very well. Happy to
Keep playing.
I was happy to keep playing. Just got to play Nigel and another close to champion.
Is he coming to that?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was talking to Nigel about that.
When is it?
It's in December. Nigel even remembered that the last time I was backpacking in Asia, I got dengue fever and had to miss the King's Cup tournament. And he asked me,
Bummer.
"Well, aren't you worried about dengue fever still?" And I'm like, For those of you who don't know, if you get dengue fever a second time, you're not doing too well. So since I have the IQ that is not 200 and is more like 20, I've decided to go back to the source and hopefully not have anything go too crazy. I guess I really like Scrabble again. Anyway,
Josh plays Spokesman. Plays Spokesman. Josh plays Pokemon. Thank you for the very nice comment. We appreciate it. We've been here all day, and we hope we're giving you a good show.
So Evans is kind of just given up there for a sec. I love what Jason has done here. I think that's why it's fun to see some of these guys who are just more than happy. This is one of the most stressful games of Scrabble they've probably ever played, but, still able to have fun, which is what I love. I mean, in general, all these people are hilarious, funny, and, we're all here to have fun, ultimately.
V. Hyacinth, you're my hero. Thank you for defending me. That was very sweet. And I'm sorry you got attacked, but I will tell you that was my son who kicked out that guy. So it's all in the family. Do we know who Pokemon is? Or is Kate just happy to have a person named Pokemon?
I'm trying to think of any Joshes I know who play Pokemon. I have one friend who won $150,000 playing FanDuel, quit his job, and now drives around the U.S. playing Pokemon.
Oh, hi, man.
He
nice
spent
to see you.
he spent a year walking around Portland, Oregon, playing Pokemon, and then he's like, I'm just going to drive around the country doing it.
Someone needs to tell you non-English people what those words mean. Well, honestly, we're English-speaking people, and we don't know what the words mean. So.
That said, assuming Aerolith bot is still on, you can type exclamation point define space word.
I think that was a mistake.
Well, we are glad that you are here, Josh. Physics, you missed everything while you were off fusioning nuclear things. You missed the TWL game. I'm sure you'll be thrilled. But now you came back just in time to see some Collins.
Over in the TWL game that Ori really needs to win over Nigel. Nigel's opening rack had INGS blank on it. So needless to say, he bingoed on his first
He opened
turn.
with misogyny.
He opened with misogyny, which I will not take personally. And then Ori Swift picked up a retina rack with an L, so he will bingo back.
But back over here again, another strange play from Jason. He even had noob spelled out on his rack and didn't play it, overlapping Ariak. Just a better play.
Much better play. Interesting.
He saw it. I don't know why he didn't play it. I'm kind of not sure.
Oh, we'll ask him later.
Kind of don't really know what's going on with him. All I can assume is that it's nerves. I mean, having been in that position before, I've had a 2-game lead at Nationals and blown it and not come back. Actually, part of that lead was taken by Jason in 2012. He beat me at board 1.
And you see, now that got blocked. That would have been blocked.
Yeah.
Big mistake. We'll see. He had his thinking. Over on the Nigel board, when Ori doubled with that retina rack to make Tanglier, he not only gave Nigel an X spot for tripling in both directions, but he gave him a T for Exultant. So we'll see which one he takes, but I'm sure it'll be Exultant, and he does. He had to choose between a 52 and a 64-point play. I feel for him.
Yeah, life's hard.
Late in the game, late in the day. It could be exhausting.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. These guys are freaking exhausted. Like, I'm exhausted, and I haven't even had to play.
Well, we
Again,
were working hard.
yeah. Looks like, again, neither of them have much of a bingo here. Why did Evans play X instead of Axe?
He thinks it's probably more synergic with the ing,
That's
the
my
A,
that's
than
my
the E.
guess. Yeah. I mean, the thing to keep in mind here is that Evans is also saving. I'm assuming bogeying is good. Yeah. So he's got bogeying whenever he wants it. So there could have been a thought process there, but my guess is that gains probably bingos a bit more than GEINS. 'Cause maybe the E's just not quite as good. Yeah. In international tournaments, typically played in English, although there is a French organization as well. There are tournaments played in other languages, notably in Thai, but primarily the languages used in international play. There's also Spanish, but primarily English, some Spanish, some French. So yeah, this is like very interesting for Evans. Well, not interesting, just great. He's got was here for 47, saving bogeying next turn for 45, then keeping the S. So it's kind of like a race to see who's going to bingo, but Evans has just been scoring wonderfully without even needing to bingo. And
Well, unless
like
he has an A, he's not going to bingo.
yeah, looks like it's going to happen again next turn if he gets bogeying down.
Well, neither has a bad rock. You can do stuff with it. It's not like they're suffering, and therefore we would be suffering. Jason has faded to the A. Oh, no, he doesn't, because Waz just blocked that. Certainly wants to undouble the D and score.
Yeah, I mean, as it turns out, if he did something like just play FED into the triple lane, he could set himself up for something good.
It may not be a bad time to try that right now. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, Evans can essentially have anything, although you have Def up in the top, which not great because it opens a big spot, but as we see, Jason will have the top left to play with all on his own if Def gets played. But either way, interesting other idea here is that F can go above OU and next to OO, making oof and FOU, and certainly with ADDES, there are plenty of bingos to be drawn next turn. So, a few different opportunities here. It's actually not the easiest of decisions.
Sometimes when you have too many possibilities, too many good things that you could do, it's hard to choose which is the right one to do.
Yeah, I mean, especially at the last game of the day, you can tell Jason's getting a bit tired.
Had you talked about clings and bogeys? Had you thought about that?
No, because I think he's going to play bogeying.
Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, because CLST with a nice S hook there is still pretty solid. There being orgs.
Wow, he's not even thinking. Wow.
Oh, huh.
Well, he's getting more points. Let's see. We'll do the math. If bogeying is 45.
That's only 40, but it's a much safer play for sure.
And it saves ST rather than CLST, which is much better.
But unfortunately for Evans, Jason has finally worked his way into a bingo. You can see he's very happy looking at his rack, knowing that he's about to score a bunch of points. And Evans is going to be less than happy once he sees that.
Again, Evans, much like Ori in our game with Nigel, has to win these games. He has to start closing the gap. The absolute best way to gain on it, the leader, of course, is to play him and beat him.
The nice thing for Evans here was he had worked up enough of a lead such that, the game is essentially tied now.
What's the bingo through CH?
Through CH. Someone telling us that?
No, I just looked at it and saw it right away.
Oh.
It's kind of my brain.
Oh, Sketchpad?
Very good.
Yeah, I'm a designer, so I guess I should.
That's why I
should
you.
Probably not miss that. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Canadian spellings are encouraged more so in the international play.
But not everyone. Like for the longest time, Henri did not take a U.
Yeah.
Now I think it finally does. It depends. It's a little random sometimes. Nigel in the other game has bingoed yet again with orated natural. So he's up 310 to 260. And he has picked the blank.
Interesting idea for Evans here. POUK through the OU for 27, setting up a different S hook. There's always the very safe, KADE.
That's very nice, the Pook, and you know what? And saving dates is great. DT is not always the greatest combination. The late, great Bob... What was it? Bob Felt taught me that. Good. Good for you for knowing that.
But KADE for 41 on the top right is also great. Again, just kind of just hanging around with that S for orgs is pretty solid still right now. But yeah, pretty. Both somehow a slow start and a fast start, just in terms of lots of points, but it took a while for a bingo to come down. Definitely seeing, I think, some fatigue. Both players are starting to look pretty tired.
Grandpa Sox, the reason why boogieing wasn't necessarily a big mistake. It's just that it would have left CLST and not scored that much more than Kling, saving ST. And because he has the S to hook onto bogey, there was really no rush to block that spot.
Yeah, so you would have seen medals and orgs come down just the same, just a couple point difference.
That's it. So it wasn't a big mistake.
Yeah, and a lot of it, I think, Evan's thought process was because of where that N is, there's a double letter score. You can really score a lot of points. Jason could be setting himself up with another big play. He could easily score 40, 50 points there. So Evans may have thought, I'm keeping ST with a couple great spots for it open. It's just so happened that hasn't really been drawing bingos yet.
So Evans taking his time. What do you know about Evans and time management?
He's usually pretty efficient about his time. He doesn't usually go over. I think he's pretty smart about it, and I think this makes sense. They're heading towards the middle of the game. They've both used, almost half their time. Makes enough sense. Yeah, looking here, if Evans plays KADE, it'll block Jason. Looks like most of his best plays involve his playing some of his vowels over on the right side there. Actually, kind of surprised it's taking him this long. My guess is he's debating between POUK and KADE, or maybe he just doesn't see it. But
do you think he's making a reference that it's, should be going to watch a baseball game?
Well, it would not be a very far walk. There's a minor league stadium a few blocks away.
Yeah, I think some people are going tonight to the game.
Okay.
Or maybe it was last night. No, I think it's tonight.
I thought maybe his car had broken down. Yeah, Evans looks a little pained right now. I think he's tired.
He really is exhausting, even though we are sitting down all day. The amount of brain power, it's just astonishing. There's so much to think of. There's so many variables that you have to keep track of simultaneously. It's really a very, very demanding game.
Okay.
Interesting.
I don't agree with that play at all.
And I'll tell you why.
I'll be honest.
Tell us why.
Well, it doesn't really accomplish any of the things he needs right now. I guess one thing it accomplishes, sets up a very big variant play, and if he just wants to draw a big bingo there like he did, then that's fine.
And uprates, so he's going to bingo.
So that was definitely
an up terrace.
A good result. But, he really left himself with tiles that could have gone pretty bad, could have gone pretty badly. He could have scored more points. He could have scored about the same amount of points, leaving things that bingoed more. It really just didn't accomplish anything the best, except kind of try to, force this opening that could come back to bite him.
Well, that being said, he only had one S hook on the board.
Yeah, but it's an even game. He's not even losing.
That's true. He's going to bingo regardless.
So Jason plays Amia on the right side instead of the left side. Maybe I've lost my mojo, guys. I don't know. So Evans definitely knows all of the bingos in this rack, and I think he will eventually come to the one that Jason's just opened for him quite significantly. Is drinking allowed by players?
Yeah, water, sure.
Um,
Coffee.
don't know if it's in the rules, but speaking from experience, it's very much legal. We count our points so fast, honestly, just because we've been doing this so many times. Even like, there have been times where I've gotten the flu and I'll have like a fever and I'll like try to sleep and then like I'll like kind of have one of those like feverish hallucinations and I'll just like count up plays in my head.
So
I wish I was lying.
Definitely the play has to be upstare, UPSTARE, making emu, dip, and does. And this is something that will definitely be something Evans knows. I think upstare is, I'm not sure if that's the STARE is Collins only.
No, TWL.
It's us as well? Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
So I honestly don't really know what Evans is waiting for. I think, for both these players who've never won a big major event like this before, you start to get a little paranoid. Like, in this rack there's up tears, up rates, up stare.
It's a very well-known rack.
But you're sitting in this position and all of a sudden you're like, wait a sec.
And
Am I making up upstare? I know up rates is a word. I know pasture is a word. They both play.
Yeah, look
Upstairs
at it.
scores more. I don't know. It's possible. I would expect Evans to make this play 3 minutes ago. I honestly I'm pretty shocked by this.
We're laughing because I told you Nigel played orated and then he picked a blank and then he played wheezily through an E for 110 points against Ori. And he's down 420 to 260. So I don't think he's going to win this one. He got a 45-point play, Whitey. And then Nigel played Runagate, almost the only place on the entire board to bingo. He had to start with an R and end with an E or O, and he picked up Unagate. Ori, for his part, is picking up nice rack. He has pointed on his rack. Not that that's going to Piedmont off the M. There's an M, but it's to start with an M, not so.
I am shocked that Evans is making this play. I'm guessing he's chickened out of upstare. Yeah, I think it's. Honestly, I think it's nerves.
And you know what? It might make a difference. It might make, because it's a big difference. It's a 15-point difference in point.
He's left a huge spot open now. Like that
That
spot, as it turns out, it's not gonna maybe not hurt too badly, but that's a big thing to give up.
He's gonna play taut. Let's see. Oh, he got the blank.
But I guarantee if we chat with either one of these players, but I mean in this case Evans after the game, he's probably going to say, I just wasn't, I just couldn't convince myself. I was pretty sure, but I just wanted to make sure. Most points scored in a turn, somewhere in the 300s.
That's 30 points for 4 one-point tiles. That's a huge difference.
It's a play that should have never happened.
All right. We certainly are not criticizing Evans in any sense of the imagination. I think he's tired.
Yeah, I mean, tired, and again, this is, for them in Scrabble, this is one of the biggest stages they've ever been on. Evans has finished top 10 in the World Championships before. Jason's come close in, I believe, both TWL and Collins Nationals before. But it looks like Jason's going to be sitting on a bingo next turn, depending upon where Evans goes.
Realness, he's lined up.
And I think N Seals is
Seals,
also
so
good.
he's definitely going to be bingoing regardless.
So,
wow, exciting.
Evans almost drew 11th, but not quite. That would have been sick. It would have blocked. Oh, it wouldn't have blocked everything, but yes, that's what I expected Evans to play there. Scores well, keeping the board open. I'm assuming that takes an S.
Yeah, but I think he's going to definitely go with realness. He's not even thinking.
So, Evans still has the advantage here. Just, he just has a few more points. Jason will briefly take the lead, but and here comes, as we're going to see in a sec here,
Rivlin.
Evans is going to play
Rivlin's, yeah.
Rivlin's, which, hey, it's funny. Upstairs isn't able to get it, but, a weird word like Rivlin's, no problem. So,
well, Rivlin's also doesn't have an anagram, whereas uprights, there's three more besides, and you start talking yourself out of it. Like,
yeah, well, it's just funny because it's this ridiculous word versus
yeah,
not a
I know.
ridiculous
Yeah, I
word.
know. But it's always the way, I do aerolith and I do
Yeah.
the blank bingos. I'm always finding the more obscure ones faster than the common ones.
Yeah.
It's just the way our minds work after we study so much. So what's happening here now? Okay, Jason's got VY. We haven't updated the score. So it's 374 for Jason and 436 for Evans.
And it looks like Evans is going to take this out because he's only got 6 tiles left on his
And the
rack,
blank, yeah.
including the last blank. There's, no bingo here for Jason. So I'm guessing he'll play a...
That's kind of a pun. He has 6 points.
Oh, yeah. He has points literally on his rack.
How long does it take to get this good at the game? Well, you take your IQ and you divide it by the number of hours studied and you multiply it by the number of beers you drink on a daily basis and you should get an answer.
Yeah, there you go. That.
It takes a while. It takes a while, and the reason why it takes a while is because you have to get the games in. It's not enough just to study. You need to play the games. You need to have the experience over the board, and that takes time.
So I think Jason knows he's kind of sunk here, but probably just going through, double checking what tiles remain, make sure there's no weird way he could steal the game.
Exciting game, though. It really came alive all of a sudden.
Yeah, it was. I mean, definitely. I think they're both sitting there thinking like, okay, I'm tired. I'm ready to go have dinner.
Yeah.
Go have a beer. But I think, from our perspective, Evans winning this game means he's only one game behind Jason. Tomorrow morning is going to be more exciting. He's going to be one game back with, tied spread-wise. And I think, from a viewing perspective, that will be much more fun. Not to say, Jason's not still in the driver's seat. He'll, if he wins 2 out of 3 tomorrow, pretty much guaranteed to win.
Well, from our perspective, obviously I don't wish either of these guys ill will, but from our perspective, for an excitement.
Yeah, that's exactly.
That's it. It's better to have Jason lose right now, but.
Are there any bilingual Scrabble tournaments? I don't know of any. That said, there is occasionally an English division at a Spanish tournament. We've certainly tried playing in Spanish before, but...
Are they finished?
Yeah.
We've had, at World Championships, we've had multiple languages within the same room. So we had we had Spanish, and we had French, we had English, we had German. So all took place at the same time within the same event.
Yeah. Did you say Norwegian?
Was there Norwegian?
I think there was Norwegian also,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to try to get you what's going on with the other